If you are holding a job offer right now that that promises this massive like 30% salary hike, I need you to do something.
Yeah, put the pen down.
Right. Just put the pen down, take a breath. Because based on the research that we are unpacking today, that incredible leap in compensation might actually be setting you up to take a very real, very painful pay cut.
Oh, absolutely.
So, welcome to today's deep dive. This is specially tailored for the learner out there who sent us this material. We are digging into a really fascinating comprehensive guide called Demystifying CTC, the truth behind your salary offer.
It's a great piece.
Yeah, and our mission is simple,
Mhm.
We want to make sure you never make a major life decision based on a misleading headline number ever again.
Right. It is a critical mission. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the core of this issue revolves around three letters that
Yeah.
completely dominate the Indian job market, though, I mean, the psychology really applies globally. But those letters are CTC. They stand for cost to company.
Yeah.
And the fundamental error, the big mistake most candidates make is reading cost to company and then immediately translating it in their heads to value to me.
Value to me, right, which is such a dangerous cognitive leap. It's like, getting a job offer in today's corporate landscape is sometimes like ordering a massive family-sized pizza when you are just absolutely starving.
Oh, I like this.
Right. You see this gigantic box arrive, you pay a premium for it, and you are ready to feast. But when you eagerly open the lid, you find like 3 actual slices of pizza,
Yeah.
and the rest of the box is filled with extra napkins, maybe a coupon you can only use next year, the delivery fee, and a pamphlet about the long-term nutritional value of tomatoes.
That is painfully accurate.
But all of that was bundled together and sold to you as the total cost of meal.
Yeah, that analogy captures the mechanics perfectly because the box itself, that is the total CTC. It represents the overall financial burden the company takes on to have you sit at a desk.
Right.
It's an accounting metric for their finance department.
Yeah.
It is not a deposit slip for your bank account.
Exactly.
So to actually understand what you get to eat, to stick with your pizza metaphor, our source text outlines 5 vital numbers that every single candidate has to separate.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's establish those up front. You have your total CTC, which is the headline number. Inside that, you have your fixed compensation, that is the guaranteed money.
Right.
Then comes variable compensation, which, fluctuates based on performance. Below that is your monthly gross, which is just your fixed pay divided by 12.
Yep.
And finally, sitting at the very bottom is the only number that actually buys groceries. The expected take-home.
The take home.
Right.
And the gap between that first number and that last number is exactly where candidates get into severe financial trouble.
Yeah.
And to understand why companies build this gap, we kind of need to look at the mechanics of the market.
Yeah.
Let's start with the most vulnerable group highlighted in the guide.
The fresh graduates.
Exactly. Fresh graduates. They are entering the workforce without any historical context for how these compensation packages are engineered.
Right. It's the classic fresher trap. Let's ground this in the actual math provided in the text. So imagine a 22-year-old fresh out of college.
Okay.
They get an offer letter proudly stating a CTC of 5 lakhs.
5 lakh.
And for anyone unfamiliar with the South Asian numbering system, a lakh is 100,000 rupees. So we are talking about a 500,000 rupee package.
Right.
The immediate human reaction is to, pull out your phone calculator, punch in 500,000 and divide by 12.
Right. Which spits out a very comforting figure of what, 41,667 rupees a month.
Exactly. And armed with that number, this young professional starts, I don't know, looking at apartments, maybe scrolling through car loans, because 41 grand a month feels solid.
It feels great.
It feels like they have arrived. But, and here's the catch, the guide breaks down the architecture of this hypothetical 5 lakh offer, and it tells a very different story.
Oh, very different.
The actual fixed compensation, the guaranteed component, is only 4.2 lakhs.
Right, which means 80,000 rupees have instantly evaporated. Just gone from the guaranteed column before the candidate has even started their first day.
It's wild. I want to look at where that 80,000 went, because this really gets to the heart of why companies structure things this way. The text shows 30,000 of it is allocated to variable pay.
Yeah, variable pay, and we'll explore variable pay in depth a bit later, but fundamentally that 30,000 is entirely conditional.
Right.
It shifts the risk from the company directly onto the employee. And then you have another 25,000 rupees categorized as the employer's provident fund contribution, or PF.
Right. And for context for our listeners, a provident fund is essentially a government-mandated retirement savings scheme.
Yes.
It is your money, technically, but it is locked away in a vault. It doesn't help you pay rent this Friday.
Precisely the issue. It is an illiquid asset.
Right.
And the final $25,000 in this Freshers package is bundled up in gratuity and insurance benefits.
Okay, so gratuity.
Yeah, gratuity in this context is a lump sum payout that companies offer as a loyalty reward. But the catch?
There's always a catch.
Oh, yeah. You typically have to remain employed with the same company for a continuous 5 years to ever see a single rupee of it.
Wait, 5 years?
5 years.
Wow. So we have the retirement lockbox, 5-year loyalty carrot, and the conditional bonus.
Yeah.
Those are the napkins and the coupons in my pizza box.
Exactly.
And the math just cascades from there. Your fixed annual gross isn't 5 lakhs anymore, it's 4.2 lakhs. Divide that by 12, and the monthly gross drops to 35,000 rupees.
And we still aren't at the bottom of the funnel.
Oh, no.
Because that 35,000 is a gross figure. It does not account for the mandatory deductions stripped away before the money clears.
Right, taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's before the employee's own matching share of the Provident Fund is taken out. It is before state professional taxes, and crucially, before TDS.
Tax deducted at source.
Tax deducted at source. The government takes its income tax cut before the money ever even reaches your hands.
Okay, so to visualize the real-world impact here, you signed a lease for an apartment expecting over 41,000 rupees to hit your account on the first of the month. But in reality, after the fluff is removed and the taxes are deducted, you might be looking at less than 30,000 rupees.
Yeah.
You are instantly living beyond your means, budgeting for a lifestyle you literally cannot afford, all because you anchored your expectations to the headline number.
It's heartbreaking, really. And companies engineer it this way largely for competitive optics.
Optics.
Yeah. Imagine two competing firms, right? Company A offers a straightforward, transparent 3.5 lakh fixed salary with absolutely no fluff.
Okay.
But Company B offers the 5 lakh structured CTC we just dissected. Both result in the exact same take-home pay at the end of the month. Yet the vast majority of entry-level candidates will gravitate toward Company B because the larger number provides a psychological anchor that suggests higher status and higher value.
Even if the liquidity isn't there.
Even if the liquidity is zero.
I see the psychology behind that for sure, but I have to push back a little on the scope of the problem.
Okay.
I mean, I completely understand how a 22-year-old fresher gets blindsided by this, right? It's their first time navigating corporate bureaucracy. But as you climb the ladder, surely this stops being a primary concern.
You would think so.
Right, because an experienced professional negotiating a senior role is sitting across the table from HR with a wealth of experience. Doesn't the fluff get easier to absorb when the overall pie is just much larger?
It is a totally reasonable assumption. But the source material demonstrates that the reality is quite the opposite.
Really?
The CTC illusion doesn't disappear. It scales up and becomes exponentially more complex. Companies have far more financial instruments at their disposal for senior roles. Let's analyze the second major scenario from the guide. The 20 lakhs CTC offer.
Okay, 20 lakhs, 2 million rupees. The phone calculator comes out again, right? Divided by 12, that looks like a remarkably healthy 1,066,667 rupees a month.
It looks fantastic on a PDF.
Yeah.
But the structural breakdown reveals the mirage. For a mid to senior level role with a 20 lakh package, the text notes the fixed compensation might be capped at just 14 lakhs.
Wait, 14, that is a staggering drop.
Yeah.
6 lakhs, almost a third of the entire compensation package just vanished from the guaranteed column.
It did. Let's trace where it goes because it explains the corporate strategy perfectly. 3 lakhs are tied to variable pay. 1 lakh is a joining bonus. 1 lakh is consumed by employer PF, gratuity, and insurance benefits. And the final 1 lakh is issued as ESOPs, employee stock ownership plans.
Okay, let's pause on the math for a second. If we take that 14 lakh fixed and divide it by 12, the monthly gross drops from our expected 1,066,000 down to roughly 1,016,000.
Oh.
That is a 50,000 rupee per month gap between expectation and reality. And again, that is before taxes.
Before taxes.
But you touched on ESOPs, and I want to dive into that because the text really highlights it as a major source of confusion.
Yeah, ESOPs are a prime example of confusing evaluation with actual liquidity. I mean, from the company's perspective, issuing 1 lakh in stock options is brilliant.
Right.
It aligns your financial interests with the company's growth, and it doesn't drain their current cash reserves.
But for the employee, it's like the company offering you a piece of land in their apple orchard.
Yes.
They say, hey, this plot is worth a lot of money, but you don't actually own the land yet. You have to stay and tend to the trees for 4 years. That's the vesting schedule.
Right.
And even if you stay for 4 years, you can only make money if the trees actually produce apples, meaning, the company goes public or gets acquired.
Exactly.
Until then, you can't walk into a grocery store and trade a piece of paper about an imaginary apple tree for your weekly groceries.
The orchard analogy works so well because it highlights the dual barriers here.
Yeah.
Time and market conditions. You are taking on equity risk. A theoretical valuation of 1 lakh today means absolutely nothing to your current cash flow.
Right.
And this brings us to another short-term illusion in the executive package, the joining bonus.
Yes, the 1 lakh joining bonus. Now, on the surface, this looks great. It gets you in the door, but it acts like a financial sugar rush.
A sugar rush, that's good.
It inflates your first-year CTC, making you feel incredibly wealthy. But what happens in year 2? That entire 1 lakh just disappears from your cash flow.
Poof, gone.
Your actual earning potential drops in your second year unless you manage to negotiate an incredibly aggressive raise just to break even with what you made in year 1.
Right, you are hitting on the cash flow cliff.
Yeah.
But the source text issues a much more severe warning regarding joining bonuses. It introduces a mechanism called a clawback condition.
I saw that term in the research, and I gotta say, it sounds inherently violent.
It does.
A clawback. It sounds like if you leave the company early, they literally reach into your bank account and drag the money back out. Is it actually that aggressive?
Well, legally, yes. It operates with that level of aggression.
Wow.
A clawback clause stipulates that if you resign within a specific time frame, typically 6, 12, or even 24 months, you are legally obligated to repay the joining bonus.
A whole thing.
Often in its entirety.
Right.
Companies use this to mitigate the upfront financial risk of hiring you. But for the employee, it transforms a bonus into a debt.
It's not a bonus at all then. It's a pair of golden handcuffs.
Exactly.
It completely limits your mobility. If a toxic work environment reveals itself in month 4, you are trapped, unless you have the cash on hand to literally buy your way out of the contract.
Which is why you must evaluate the risk-to-reward ratio of every component. If the joining bonus vanishes after year 1, you might wonder how companies incentivize you to stay in year 2 and beyond.
Right.
And that introduces another inflation tool mentioned in the guide, the retention bonus.
Let me guess, this is another form of phantom money.
Entirely phantom money.
Yeah.
A retention bonus might be presented as a 2 lakh addition to your total CTC.
Okay.
But the fine print will reveal it is payable only upon the completion of, say, 18 or 24 months of continuous service.
So it absolutely has no business being calculated into a year 1 monthly budget. You are essentially lending the company your loyalty on credit.
Yeah, and you're bearing the risk that the company might lay you off in month 17.
Oh, man.
Right. And they entirely legally avoid the payout.
That's brutal.
It is, which brings us to the largest variable component in our 20 lakh example, the 3 lakhs in variable pay.
3 lakhs is a huge chunk of change. And the text suggests this is the most dangerous area for candidates simply because of human optimism.
Yes.
We tend to look at variable pay and think, well, I'm a hard worker. I always hit my targets. I will definitely earn that money.
It is the illusion of control.
Yeah.
The guide is emphatic that candidates must investigate the architecture of the variable payout. Is it strictly tied to your individual key performance indicators? Or is it weighted heavily toward team performance or even the overall macroeconomic performance of the company?
Oh, because if it's tied to company revenue, you could be the top performer in your division.
Yep.
You could work 80-hour weeks, completely revolutionize your department, and still receive a 0% payout because the global supply chain took a hit and the company missed its quarterly targets.
Precisely. You do not control macro factors. You are absorbing the company's market risk.
Right.
And this is why the source provides a highly tactical piece of advice. During negotiations, you shouldn't ask HR what the potential payout is. You should ask a very specific question.
What's the question?
You ask, what was the average actual variable payout percentage for employees in this role over the last 2 years?
Oh, wow. That is such a sharp pivot. You are forcing them to move from theoretical marketing to historical data.
Because if HR admits that, historically, employees have only realized about 40% of their variable component, your mental math needs to shift immediately.
Absolutely.
You instantly discount that 3 lakh variable component down to 1.2 lakhs. You never build fixed lifestyle expenses, like mortgages or school fees, around compensation that relies on corporate performance metrics that you cannot control.
The same logic applies to the insurance and benefits section, right?
Mhm.
Because the guide points out that a 25,000 rupee premium for comprehensive health insurance is a fantastic benefit. You want a company that provides good health care.
You do, but a health insurance premium is not cash compensation. You cannot use a medical card to pay your car loan.
Right.
It is a protective benefit. It is not a liquid asset.
So it seems to come back to a core issue of transparency. I mean, offering ESOPs or health insurance or retention bonuses isn't inherently malicious.
No, not at all.
These are standard corporate tools. The deception happens when they are deliberately bundled to obscure the actual monthly cash flow. It's when a recruiter verbally hypes up a 20 lakh salary on a phone call, but the written offer reveals a heavily conditional, highly illiquid structure.
The architecture of the offer is intentionally designed to force the candidate to focus solely on the percentage jump from their current CTC to the new CTC.
Right.
Which leads us to the most critical, high-stakes scenario outlined in this entire deep dive.
Okay, let's lay this out for the person listening right now who is agonizing over whether to accept a new job offer.
Let's construct the ultimate trap based on the text.
Okay.
Imagine your current CCC is 12 lakhs. And let's assume that 12 lakhs is a very clean, straightforward structure. It is almost entirely fixed pay.
Okay, so I have 12 lakhs of steady, reliable cash hitting my account every month. I know exactly what I can afford.
Right. Now, you interview with a competitor, they come back with an offer letter, and the headline number is 16 lakhs.
16 lakhs. I look at that number, and my brain instantly registers a 33% hike. That is a massive jump. I am mentally drafting my resignation letter to my current boss. I'm looking at upgrading my car. I am celebrating.
And that immediate emotional rush is exactly what the recruiting team is banking on.
Right.
But let's apply everything we have just learned and dissect that 16 lakh offer.
Okay.
Suppose the new structure is built like this: 12 lakhs in fixed pay, 2 lakhs in variable pay, a 1 lakh one-time joining bonus, and 1 lakh wrapped up in benefits and employer contributions.
Wait, 12 lakhs fixed.
Yes.
But my current clean salary is already 12 lakhs fixed.
Your recurring fixed compensation has not increased by a single rupee.
The headline number went up by 33%, but the actual reliable money I use to run my life is completely unchanged.
Unchanged.
And actually, if the new company has a less favorable tax structure, or if they deduct a higher percentage for their specific provident fund or insurance plans, my actual monthly take-home pay might go down.
Yep.
I could be taking a 33% hike on paper and a literal pay cut in reality.
It happens all the time. Which brings us to the absolute golden rule of this entire document, and frankly, the most important takeaway for anyone navigating the job market.
What is it?
Do not compare CTC versus CTC. Compare fixed versus fixed.
Compare fixed versus fixed. That needs to be tattooed on the wrist of every professional.
Seriously.
Because when you accept that 16 lakh offer, you aren't just signing a PDF. You are triggering massive, tangible life changes based on a statistical illusion.
Yeah, the guide is very explicit about the gravity of a job change. When you resign, you are abandoning stable employment.
Right.
You are forfeiting accumulated benefits and internal goodwill at your old job. You are entering a probationary period where your job security is just naturally lower. You might be relocating to a new city, which means signing a more expensive lease, maybe disrupting your children's schooling, or taking on new commuting costs. You are assuming real-world financial risk.
And you cannot fund real-world financial risk with a headline CTC. You cannot pay a new landlord with unvested ESOPs. You cannot pay a new school's admission fees with a year-end retention bonus that you might not even qualify for if they let you go in month 10.
This is exactly why truly transparent, confident HR teams actually want candidates to understand this math.
Really?
Yeah. A strong employer with a healthy corporate culture doesn't need to use smoke and mirrors to artificially inflate their offers. They desire informed consent.
That makes sense.
When a candidate accepts an offer fully understanding what is guaranteed, what is conditional, and what is deferred, it builds a foundation of trust before the employee even logs in for their first day.
Conversely, if you are dealing with a company that aggressively pushes the headline number and gets defensive when you ask for a breakdown, that tells you everything you need to know about their corporate culture.
Huge red flag.
So as we look at wrapping up the mission of this deep dive, let's just distill the core mantras from the research. First, CTC is not your salary. Second, CTC is not your take-home pay. And third, the highest CTC on paper is very often not the best financial offer in reality.
Those are the foundational truths. If our listeners implement only one actionable step from today's analysis, it should be to communicate a very specific request before accepting any role.
Yeah.
As the recruiter, please share the complete CTC breakup, explicitly detailing fixed pay, variable pay, one-time payments, employer contributions, benefits, and my exact monthly gross compensation.
Just lay it all out.
Lay it all out. It is a standard, highly professional request. If an organization balks, hesitates, or refuses to provide that clarity in writing, you must view that as a severe red flag.
Because the mechanics of the illusion remain exactly the same regardless of your seniority.
Exactly.
Whether the offer is 5 lakhs for a fresher, 20 lakhs for a manager, or a crore for a director, the mathematics of disappointment will catch you unless you force the conversation toward fixed compensation.
The scale of the numbers changes, but the corporate strategy of risk mitigation and optical inflation remains constant. You have to advocate for your own liquidity.
You know, spending all this time analyzing how companies build these packages has sparked a somewhat radical idea for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If corporations are culturally allowed to bundle every single overhead expense, your desk space, your mandatory government funds, your health insurance, and the theoretical future value of an apple orchard into this giant cost-to-company metric just to make their side of the ledger look as impressive as possible,
Yeah.
what if employees started flipping the script?
In what sense?
Well, what if we stopped negotiating based on our bare minimum survival numbers and started coming to the table with a cost of living package?
A cost of living package. That is an intriguing framing.
Right. Think about it. Imagine sitting across from HR and handing them a headline number that bundles your required base salary, plus the amortized cost of your daily commute, the depreciation schedule of the car you use to get to their office, the cost of the home office setup you need for hybrid work, a gym membership to manage the stress of their targets, and, I don't know, a built-in 5% buffer for macroeconomic inflation.
Oh, wow.
You look at them and say, my comprehensive cost of living package is 30 lakhs. Let's start the negotiation there. If they are allowed to package their costs to look incredibly impressive with all this fluff and projected value, maybe it is time candidates start packaging theirs.
It is a highly provocative thought, and it really highlights a massive asymmetry in how the corporate world discusses compensation.
Right.
Companies present their maximum potential outlay, assuming every best-case scenario, while candidates are traditionally expected to negotiate based only on their minimum acceptable monthly cash flow. Shifting that paradigm would certainly change the power dynamic in an interview.
It is definitely food for thought for everyone listening. Before you step into your next salary negotiation, think deeply about what is actually inside that pizza box they are handing you. Are you getting a full meal that sustains you, or are you just getting a pile of extra napkins and a pamphlet?
Right.
Take a hard, analytical look at your current salary structure, do the math on your fixed versus fixed, and never let a flashy headline number make your life decisions for you. Until next time, keep diving deep.